let's say I have a game next Saturday. Why don't we schedule a game and then that scheduled game, then that Saturday comes, we set up the camera and maybe start a live stream.
Yes. So then you go into schedule a game and you give your game a title. So Saturday Powout. You can select your teams from here. So let's say Replayer FC is playing as the home team, and then Wrath of Morsel is playing as the away team. You can add those teams here. Of course, you would then go to the date of that game. So Saturday, do you know what
19.
date? 19th?
Yes.
So July 19th, you confirm, you can see it there also. Let's say this game is starting at 5 p.m. You confirm. Make sure you set the time zone correctly. This is going to default to your own time zone. But let's say you're scheduling games for upcoming travels. You want to make sure that, if you're based in California, but you're going to go play in another state, maybe in another time zone, you can update that here. And just to make sure that your fans are tuning in at the right time and don't miss all the action. Similarly here, you can add a location, and then you can add some notes. Maybe, for example, this is going to be at field 8, or you could add some other comment here that your fans will see as well. And then you go ahead and schedule that game, and now it's listed on your game page. One thing that you can do is, well in advance, you can go in and publish this game on the team profiles. So in this case, 2 teams that I have access to might want to see this game. So I'll publish it on both of those profiles. And then fans can find this page well in advance. And that way you don't have to scramble when you go live and then distribute the link. Like everyone will have access to that link already. I'll just stop for any questions. If not, we can go ahead and maybe move into the camera setup and recording. So let's imagine it's now Saturday. We need to obviously go to the field and set up the camera. So Ege, I assume the camera's already set up on the tripod, ready to go.
Yes, just one note. Nothing with the setup has changed. Everything is the same in terms of physically. You will see some of the new features, or some of the flow is going to be different maybe on the phone, but everything that you used to do at the field is the same. So
Exactly.
yes, it's set up ready.
Okay, so one thing to call out is you have 2 entry points into the camera setup, actually 3. So if the camera is not currently set up, you will see the setup button on the camera profile page. You also have a setup camera option in this menu. You can see it's the 3rd option from the bottom. And then if you are setting up, yeah, Ege?
Yeah, my question is that, do we set up here or do we set up in that? I
In
think
the
you were
game?
going to get to that, but yeah.
Yeah, you can also, if you go into the game that you scheduled, so the game, like at the moment we want to record this game, you go into that game. And if the camera is not set up, you will also have an option to set up from here. So just for the sake of this demonstration, I will set up from the camera profile. So this works pretty much exactly the same as the previous version of the app. So here you want to make sure you did pretty good at it. You're close.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. One question I had: does that yellow line have to be on that white line, or is it just supposed to be level? What is that indicating?
You definitely want it to be leveled. This is to make sure that the corners are visible in the view. You don't have to see the corners on this page, but if the nearest touchline is leveled with this yellow marker in the preview, we know for certain that the corners are visible as well. You can also toggle to the corner view, but it's perfectly fine just to set up from here. You want to try to make sure that the line is as close as possible to the yellow marker. And you do that by physically moving the camera. So you can't manipulate this image. You have to move the camera, and then this image will update in the preview to make sure that you're at a good distance from the sideline and you're set up properly to capture it.
I have one tip. If you physically cannot move the camera due to a lot of people underneath you, you're always welcome to, with safety, if your tripod is not fully up, you can adjust the levels. So you can go, in this case, I can go a little bit more up and I would be more leveled with that line. And before you move forward, please, on windy weathers, don't forget to put sandbags so your camera is stable and safe.
Yeah, really good tips. Again. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna press next. The next few steps are going to be marking the corners of the field. So here you can see you have this pin in the middle of the screen. And then in the graphic below, we are showing the yellow corner flag, which indicates which flag you're currently pinning. So for example, this is the far left corner. So I move this by tapping and dragging the image itself, very much like how you would move, for anyone that has ordered an Uber, very much like how you move the pin to indicate where you want to get picked up. So you're not necessarily like grabbing the pin itself, you're moving the background image by pinching and zooming. And then when you get it in a good spot, you press next, and then it's time to find the next corner. So you can see how I now align it perfectly there. And then I press next.
And then I have to give one more tip. This experience, you have to pinch in and zoom, pinch in and out in order to move the cursor. We are aware of sometimes it doesn't move perfectly. We're going to improve this experience, but yeah.
Great. Okay. So then let's make sure we pin all of the corners and then the furthest touch line and the nearest touch line, and then you're good to go. So at this point, you press next, and then we are going to fetch your current calibration. So this is much faster than it was in the previous app, and as you can see, this was pretty good. So I guess calibrated this camera before, and now we are reusing the previous camera calibration results and applying them to your new field, the field that you're right in front of right now. So unless you see any issues with these side or with the field markers, field lines being sort of off, like in the bottom left example, you're just good to go. You can press next. If you see any issues where the lines don't fully align, you just press recalibrate, and then we will recalibrate the cameras, and the lines should line up after that, and then you can press next. Any questions, or we're good to go?
So if you don't see any kind of dramatic mismatch or any like red highlights on the screen, good to go.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is much faster than before.
And then I have a question. I did this field. Next week, I go to a different field. In theory, most likely it's going to work fine. It's going to be, even though it's different fields, the camera is going to use this calibration and it's going to adjust for the next field. If you still see red marks, you tap recalibrate.
Then you recalibrate. A moment to look out for is if you've recently done a camera update, you may have to redo your calibration. So at that point, say you update your camera, you go and set up, you might see there's going to be sort of red markings on the image itself. And then you just press recalibrate. You recalibrate once, and from there on out, you should be good to go. So yeah, much easier.
Yeah, I know that's a feedback we had gotten before too, was that people didn't want to have to calibrate every time. So that's great that now they can set it up once and it should be good for the next fields, even if it's different size field, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
Cool. Okay, this is an important note. So now we set up the camera from the camera profile. You can see here that you have a button on top that says Start Game. If you press Start Game, you have an option to either go live or record only. This will start a new game, so not a scheduled game. So that's just an important thing to keep in mind. If you want to start a game that you scheduled in advance, you go into that game. So now we're going to go into Saturday Powwow. And then from here, you see the button at the bottom, or the pill at the bottom saying Start Game. This is how I started this specific game. So that's important because, of course, you can show up to the field, you can start a new game, and like you're going to be perfectly fine, but your fans might be waiting on this link that you published and distributed in advance. So that's why that's just important to keep track of. You guys ready?
That's a good tip. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go live. So I'm gonna press start game, and then you have an opportunity to do a live stream preview. So at the moment, the camera is preparing that preview, and then you will be able to see a preview of what you're going to be streaming here in this window, which is also feedback that we got because previously it was very easy to go live. But as with anything, you might want to check to make sure that the quality is good and that you actually want to stream what you're streaming to the world before you publish it for anyone to see. So this is your opportunity to check that, and maybe for whatever reason the quality is compromised. So this could be, for example, low LTE coverage in your area. So then you'll see sort of poor video quality here. You might want to at this point switch to a Wi-Fi if that's available to you, and just check the quality again before you go live. But this seems pretty good. So I'm going to press record and go live. And at that point, we are essentially starting the game. So the preview is ending, and then we're starting the game. And now we're preparing the live stream on the game page itself. So if you have fans that are here looking at this link, they will also see the live stream in the app. So it's loading now. Yes, Eggy.
One thing I want to point out to people so they're aware, the live stream and recording are two different entities. So if you see choppiness or something due to your LTE on the live stream, that doesn't mean it's affecting your footage. Your footage is separate footage, and it's going to be much better quality at the end. I just want to let you guys know that.